help you. At Wedemark Keith, it's more to us. It's personal.
Years ago, when 3+U really had just started, we had a guest on the show that captured my heart anyway, I have to tell you. Her name is Deborah Levine. You might know her because she's well known around town. She's back with us this morning, and the reason, Deb, I guess, that you captured my heart was, one, the story that you so beautifully continue to tell is one that I was not familiar with. But now people all across the world are, thanks to your beautiful writing. It's called The Liberator's Daughter, is the book you wrote in memory of your dad and his story. Award-winning now, quite a number of awards that you have received, right?
Yes, indeed, because I made it into a documentary.
So let's tell people a little bit of the story briefly of The Liberator's Daughter, and then we'll explain to you why that's launching into this book signing that she has for your kids coming up on September 10th. So what is The Liberator's Daughter?
So The Liberator's Daughter is me, and the Liberator was my father, who was what they call a Ritchie boy, which was a military intelligence officer during World War II, assigned to interrogate Nazi prisoners of war. And he liberated death camps. And he was a literary gentleman, so he wrote all these letters to my mother. He was also an archivist, and he kept them. And I've made a documentary out of those letters and her love letters to him.
So am I right? It's been a long time since we've talked about this, so if I'm getting the story wrong, correct me. But part of the power of what he did is, A, he spoke, a very impressive number of languages. How many languages did he speak?
Well, he spoke both German and French, and it was because he could that he was part of the translation group and headed one of those groups as they went through all kinds of places, whether it was in the Netherlands or Belgium, France, and England.
But but he was Jewish.
Yes,
so
he
wasn't part of the story that he was able to conceal that? Is that right?
Well, actually, since we've talked about this the last time, what I've discovered is that there has been new movies about, quote, the Ritchie boys, and it was a secret Fort Ritchie military intelligence training camp near Bethesda, Maryland, that focused on Jewish young men who could speak German, who perhaps were immigrants, and understood the mindset of the Germans who had become the Nazi regime in Germany.
Okay. But I still wanted to let people realize, because to me that was part of the power of the story, that it was the Nazis he was interrogating as a Jewish man to liberate.
As a Jewish man.
Yes.
And when I was just a little teeny girl, I said to Daddy once, and I said, "You were in the war, Daddy?" "Yeah." "Uh-huh." "Did you kill anybody?" You could see I was very young. He said, "No, but I slapped somebody once." I said, "What?" "Excuse me?" "Why?" He said, "Because he said he wished Hitler had killed more Jews."
Oh.
So we did not know as young people much more than that. And it wasn't until I took the job in Tulsa Jewish Federation shortly after the Oklahoma City bombing, when I was dealing with neo-Nazis here on our land, that he told me what he had really done, and that he'd kept all his letters in a secret cupboard in his closet.
Okay, so I'm sure by now you're thinking, how do I get this documentary? And it is called The Liberator's Daughter. But what Deb has done is she's taken those life lessons of her father's and this belief in understanding perspectives and understanding the emotions behind things to help people. And she's done the same thing. So on September 10th, you were launching and having a book signing for a new children's guide, right, called Bunny Bear.
Yes. Bunny Bear Adventures in Diversity Land, which I had written years ago, but now I've made them into movies too. And I have a teaching guide and a coloring book And it goes along with my other book of story. I call them Stories That Change the World. And that one's the Inspire Your Inner Global Leader. Now, those are things that I want people to read, to be inspired by.
What's very nice is that they're short.
Yes.
They're short little stories. So whether you want to be the one to have this and share with your children, your students, what have you, or if you have an older child that's like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade kind of thing, who can read on his or her own, they can do it too, because it's easy to hold. So when you come to Barnes & Noble,
yes,
right, September 10th, I have 30 seconds, you're going to have a chance to see all of these things, talk with Deb, have her sign, things about raising global leaders, inspiring global leaders.
Those are also stories that will make a difference in people's lives, change how we think, be broader in how we think.
And then remember the story you heard here, just a smidgen of it, about the power of her dad's life and what she continues to learn, actually, about the miracles that he worked every day. So good to see you. Your website, by the way, is
AmericanDiversityReport.com.
if you'd like to learn more about what she's doing. Thank you.
I injured my shoulder at work, and I need workers' comp benefits.
I don't want to mess up, but I can't afford to hire a lawyer.
We understand how hard it can be to go without a paycheck.
That's why you never need any money up front to hire us. We don't get paid